Hello, and welcome to Comics 101, Medium versus Format versus Genre. My name is John Shableski, and I'll be your host on behalf of Library Pass and Comics Plus today. The reason we put together this tutorial is to give you an overview of the history of the medium and the many formats that have been a part of your reading experience since you can remember. Manga dates back 1,000 years in Japanese culture. Political cartooning is over 500 years old. Sunday funnies date back at least the late 1880s. And of course, it is a medium, not a genre. Like film, like music, comics is a medium that can be conveyed in any genre you can think of and many formats that you've been familiar with since you remember your earliest days of reading. Some of those formats you remember: Sunday funnies, single panel cartoons, comic strips, and even, of course, the comic book. The next generation of comics publishing are graphic novels and manga, and then the new frontier, the digital space, web comics that can be accessed on your phone or a tablet or even on your PC. It's not surprising that people automatically go to superheroes when you hear the word comic or the term about the comics medium. Comic books have been synonymous with superhero culture for at least 80 years. But there is really so much more than that, and we're here to take you on that tour today. Now, graphic novels and manga come in as many genres and subject areas as you can think of. Biographies, history, sciences, of course the fun stuff like Big Nate, even graphic novel adaptations of classic literature, and of course some of the fun stuff based on sports. History and biography, this is ripe territory. Stories like George Takei's They Called Us the Enemy. Science biographies that are wonderful to read. And of course, we have the wonderful series from John Lewis called March. Just very, very rich, and more titles coming out in this category as the years roll on. Nonfiction and science, really not surprising to see a lot of science-based stories or science-based publishing in graphic novel format, because if you think about it, a lot of the textbooks already come with a great deal of pictures to show you, or illustrations to show you how a science project works. Classic literature. Adaptations of classic literature abound every year. More and more publishing houses are getting into Shakespeare or Austen or Twain and doing adaptations that are beautiful and actually give kids a foundation for that story. It has context for them now, and it makes it even more engaging. Humor, of course, has always been rich in the comics experience. From Garfield to Big Nate to Peanuts, a lot of classic comics are now being bound up as graphic novels. Fantasy and adventure, some of the hottest circulating categories in libraries today. Stories like Avatar or Bone. Mouse Guard is a fantastic storyline, and My Little Pony, an adaptation from TV series, animation series, is also very popular in both school and public library space. Manga versus anime. The reason this slide is up is to help you understand there is a difference between the two. You often hear people conflate the terms. Anime is short for animation. This is a Japanese slang, if you will. Manga is print or hard copy, and in this case digital comics, but just think of it this way: as manga is book, anime is film. Well, that's the end of our tour. If you want more resources, you can always find them at librarypass.com. Go to librarypass.com, you'll see more tutorials that we're putting up. Also some great resources and links to sites like No Flying, No Tights, the list that the Texas Mavericks or the Yalsa Great Graphic Novels for Teens post, Good Comics for Kid from School Library Journal. You'll find those resources and more at librarypass.com. On behalf of Library Pass and Comics Plus, my name is John Shableski. Thank you for joining us today.